Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Real Business Roundtable. Today we're going to talk about values and virtues.
I love when you start it. It's like, hello, everyone.
Hello,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
I'm
My
Guy
voice sounds
Smiley.
amazing in this.
Guy Smiley.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, we really appreciate you stopping by. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so that you get notified every time we post a new episode like this one. So today we're talking about virtues and values. And honestly, this is something that I've held very close to me and stuck to for my whole life. Loyalty is massive for me. And, it's like you got to find, it's hard to find certain people you can be or that are loyal to you and, you can be loyal with. It's like, I'm loyal to the people who are close to me. They're like family to me. And so it's like, that's a value that I hold very close to my heart. But there's so many different values, and I swear, it's not just in my day-to-day life. I hold it near and dear when it comes to business as well. Like loyalty and trust and honesty and, just being all those virtues that I value the most and attracting people who are and who will value those same values as much as I do. And I think it's one of the most important things to hold.
Yeah, whether it's in business with a client or an employee, team member, consultant, whoever. I personally appreciate like loyalty, honesty, integrity, true intentions, transparency.
Yeah,
all that stuff. Just to kind of look at the bigger picture of things. What are we trying to achieve? What's the big picture goal? Once I detect any kind of like shadiness and weirdness in somebody, or let's say they're like dishonest or something like that, I'm like, oh shit, what are they doing with their customers or whatnot? So integrity is the biggest one with me, is like making sure that, I can trust somebody. Like that's a huge thing, is that trust element in business. Sometimes I'll go the extra mile for a client, and then they can see that I trust them, and in return I want them to trust me. So it's kind of a give and take. You don't just take, you give.
Yeah.
You show your clients, you show your staff, you show whoever that you believe in them. You try to give them what they need to be successful.
Yeah, the one thing that I have struggled with a little bit, and it's not even that big of a deal, like it's not even really a struggle, but one thing that I've noticed is like you gotta be careful who you're generous with, though. Some people can express that they're loyal and they can express that they're trustworthy or whatever, and they hold your best what is it, like, I'm trying to think of what it's called, like your best interest. They have your best interest, right? But you got to be careful who you're generous with and who you're, trustworthy with and loyal to, because like people can take advantage of that. And a lot of people are greedy. And, that's the one thing that sucks about this sort of stuff, because, I will be loyal to the end of my life to people who have shown loyalty and respect to me. Respect is another huge one. And, but sometimes you can't, you have to be careful who you're generous to, who you show these values to, because some people can take advantage of that, and it's disturbing. Some people are just gross in that way.
Yeah, keep your eyes and ears open for malice.
Yeah,
that's a big thing. Someone might posture something as, oh, this is what I was meaning to do, and that's what I should do, but there's an underlying malicious intent, which you can see right through. Most people can kind of detect those things. And you got to look at, okay, if someone, whether it's a client, a potential client, an employee, a contractor, and let's say they're like, well, hey, what about this and that? And you can detect, and you're like, that's interesting that you are saying it this way. What are your intentions? There's so many different, like, I've been in business for 17 years. I've seen a gamut of a wide variety of crazy, weird, curious situations that over time you start to see, and you're like, okay. And it's so hard to be how I can't be exact, but like when somebody says something to you or asks you a question, always ask yourself, well, why are they asking me that question? What would trigger that question to be asked? And try to find the underlying reason behind it. Because sometimes you can detect like just almost like disingenuous approach or a disingenuous conversation from somebody where they're almost like sometimes trying to trap you on something.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, you always have to keep your eyes and ears open. I always say that. I'm a big believer in that. Be aware of your surroundings in conversations, not just in the physical, existence. Keep your eyes and ears open all the time because someone might be trying to trap you. Someone might be trying to pull some shit because they're a hater.
Yeah, that reminds me of a lesson that I've learned growing up is surround yourself with people who you can trust. Surround yourself with your surroundings. The people who you surround yourself make up you. And that's been a huge thing for me. I try to, become friends with, well, not try to, but I become friends with people and, maybe I'm opening, we're just in conversation. Maybe they're in, an entrepreneur, whatever it may be. But once I start noticing weird stuff, it's done. I cut it off. I'm like, all right, yeah, that was weird. But I have my close, friends and, my best friends and my family who I keep around to, because those are the people who I want to be surrounded with. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. It's you got to really pay attention to the people who are around you because that is going to make you you. If you're trying to achieve something, the people around you are going to, either benefit that or hurt that. And you want people, you want the right people around you. It's very, very important. You may not see it now if you're younger or whatever situation you're in, but that is so important. It's so important, and it'll completely change your life if you start to notice these things and, take it as a value in your life.
And as an entrepreneur, small business owners need to step back and reflect on their values. Because if you're a shithead, you're a shyster, you're a bullshitter, you're like I said in the past episode, it's going to come back on you, man. This karmic debt. Mm-hmm. The more of a shithead piece of shit you are, the more shits you're going to have to pay. I see entrepreneurs all the time. They're like, oh, I'm on my third divorce. I'm losing half of everything. And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, how much of not the best person maybe they were. That stuff follows you. Try to do good. You don't have to be the Pope, but just try to do the right thing. You know in your gut what's right and what's wrong. Always do right. Always go in the right direction and just use best judgment. But if you feel, and here's the thing, if that doesn't hurt your gut to do wrong, you got to check yourself. Yeah. You got to reassess what you think is acceptable and what's not acceptable.
But in some situations, I will say that it is just to be selfish in some situations because I've found myself in situations where I got to look out for myself right now. I can't you know what I mean? And selfish for other people may come off as, oh, this person's an asshole. This person's a dick. But it's I can think of many situations where you know what? I'm done here. I'm going to be selfish and take care of myself. In their eyes, they may be like, oh, what the what an asshole. You know what I mean? There are some situations where you got to be selfish. But then you also...
it's on a case-by-case basis.
That's the thing, yeah.
If you feel like that someone's doing you wrong and you got to look out for yourself, of course, you have to take those initiatives. As long as the intentions are pure, there's nothing wrong with that. They might be pissed about it, but if you present your case and say, hey, I did this because of this, or I need to do this for me and my family because of this, if you present it like an adult and you do it professionally and in a polite manner that you're not, explain to the person. Here's the thing, if you do something in business or in life and you piss somebody off on the receiving end, if you don't explain your case clearly like an adult, then of course it kind of puts you in they're going to throw some shade and they're going to be like, oh yeah, this dude's a piece of shit. If you say, hey, I know you're not happy about my decision, but I did this because of this.
Yeah.
It gives them the opportunity to try to facilitate or to try to remedy or fix your concern. But if you just hey, you peace out, and you're just like a ghost, you're gone. It doesn't give the person a fair opportunity to make right or to make you happy or to try to help you with whatever concern you have. Where you mentioned like looking out for yourself. Yeah, people got bills to pay. People have, life expenses, of course. Yeah. What was
Just in general. I mean, I don't even think it necessarily has to do with, just money in any situation, but I know what you mean. It's circumstantial.
There's so many different, it could be life, it could be business. It's just really, you need to assess what your values are as a person and as a professional, as a business owner. And you got to make sure that in your circle of clients and in your network, that they have similar values, because you don't. Dude, I have brought on clients that I find out later on are bullies.
Yeah.
They've caused problems for people, and they're already the deal's inked. They're already a client, and I'm like sitting there like, holy shit, this guy's a problem. Like everything's going great, but in my mind I go, holy crap, this guy did this to this company, he did this to that company, and he mysteriously has a lot of money, probably from suing people. And so I'm like, I'm literally like, we're like, holy, what the, like, what's up with this guy? Like we everything was fine, but when you learn about someone else's values and what they do,
that's when you got to be selfish.
You're like, whoa, oh shit, I got to look out for myself, my staff, my family, my business. I need to be careful here with this guy.
Yeah.
Because way back, it only happened once where we had like this guy that was just like completely ridiculous, and we found out later on that he was like a wicked bully.
Yeah.
We didn't want any of that. There's just we want to interact with people that are
fit what we
there's a similar vibe. They're kind, we're kind, we're both professional,
motivated,
we're motivated to do better, want to do better. These like 1980s bullies, file suit, they're like pinstripe suit and this leather suit, get the out of here. No one does that shit. Like that's just the only people that gain are the attorneys.
Yeah,
bullies like that do that bullshit. Dude, that is like the worst karmic debt in the world.
Yeah, karma is very, very important.
That's the worst karmic debt in the world. Like, it has to be, I don't know. In business, it's like you win some, you lose some, move on. Like, don't try to take advantage of a situation. That just shows what type of person you are.
Also, something that one that I value very much so is respect.
Yeah.
Respect is massive. And, I've been in situations where people don't, I've noticed that people don't respect me, and I selfishly have to be like, I have to remove myself from this relationship, whatever it may be. And it's just, that's massive for me. And I think it comes from the point where I worked so hard to gain respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like that is one big thing where it's like, but there's also a side where I question, like, do you, like, you can't demand respect, right?
When I go out to a meeting, and if somebody just gets like, they've changed their mind, they didn't want to meet. So say they filled out a form on our website, and then they're like, hey, I want to meet, and we go out, and then they change their mind literally when I show up. I've had people kind of put me in a box, and they have been a little disrespectful, and I like quickly tell them like, hey, like, I'm one of the owners, like, I network and rub elbows with everybody that you probably know in this town, so like, take it easy, because like a couple people were like extremely disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And I had to say, hey, if now's not a good time, it's totally fine, we can reschedule, or I don't even have to come back, but take it easy. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, sorry. Like, they'll be like, I can't. Like, they'll be like, oh, yeah, dude, I'm good. Yeah, can you leave? Okay. Take it easy. Don't talk to me like that. Like, they'll do the hand move. Like, get out. Not like that, but just almost borderline that. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. But respect is a big thing for me.
Oh yeah, that's
big thing for me. If someone doesn't respect me, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to talk about it, but it's like respect is just massive for me.
Yeah. Respect, kindness, loyalty,
Yeah.
integrity, honesty, just overall doing the right thing. So to all the entrepreneurs out there watching, you should know right from wrong and always do right by your customers, always do right by your team, your staff. Think about it. If you're in a company that requires employees, contractors, whatever, without that staff, you would have nothing. So like this like belittling of, I don't know, there's this mindset where there's like this belittling. I put my staff on a pedestal. I talk about what they do, what they bring to the table, how talented they are, because I'm proud of them. You need to treat them right, reward them, give them opportunity for growth. Think about, put yourself in their shoes sometimes. So that's also really important, because that engine, your team, let's say roofing, the guys doing the installs on the roofs, buy them lunch.
Yeah.
Buy them lunch. Give them some kind of perks. Take care of them. Tell them they're doing a good job. Like stuff like that.
Help them understand that you know their value.
Yeah.
That's
So
like
appreciation. Appreciate the people who come together and help your company even be existent.
Yeah. Appreciation.
Appreciation's big. It's big to me. Just showing your staff that you appreciate what they do.
Or just anyone. Appreciation's massive. It reassures people around you.
Talking about business.
Yeah. Well, I'm connecting it to real life. That's what I do. Connecting, relate. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and got something from it. Maybe a value that you learned or got or whatever. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so that you get notified every time we post a new episode. Also, check us out on Instagram for updates, clips, and more. Peace out.